Hi folks, Hugo Rivera here with HugoRivera.net, and today I have a gentleman that really requires very little introduction. I mean, I could start naming his accolades over here and we'll probably spend a good hour going through them and still not be done. But I'll just go ahead and summarize them a little bit. You know, former Mr. Universe, top Olympia finalist many times, every single time that you competed actually.
Thank you.
And then, of course, many people feel you're an uncrowned Mr. Olympia, including myself, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, that is subjective, of course. And on top of that, best-selling fitness author as well.
Thank you, Hugo.
You know, and owner of Labrada Nutrition as well, Mr. Lee Labrada. And, you know, also, I forgot to say, and I have to say this, you're a Hall of Famer in bodybuilding.
Thank you. Thank you. That's quite an introduction. Thank you very much.
Well,
and it's great to be here with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I don't go ahead and miss out on any of that stuff, you know.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what, my fans are super excited because I told them that this week I will have the honor of meeting with you, and you were extremely graceful with your time, and you decided to take this time to go ahead and educate the people out there on a few topics that you and I had discussed before.
It's my pleasure.
Oh, you know, the honor is here, trust me. And I'll tell you what, I say, why don't we start discussing why is it that some athletes are just using nutritional supplements, you know, the ones that you buy at the retail shop out there, and there are many of those, or online, and next thing you know, they test positive for steroids.
Yeah, you know, you see that in the news from time to time where, say, an NFL player will test positive for anabolic steroids or something like that, and they haven't actually used these substances, but they've used a sports nutrition supplement like in the preceding weeks or months and that kind of thing. And unfortunately, what's going on there is that the same place that is manufacturing these legitimate sports nutrition supplements, such as a protein powder, for instance, is also manufacturing prohormones or stimulant-based supplements that then the residue in the machine gets into the quote-unquote honest sports supplement, right? And there's contamination. So there's cross-contamination because they don't clean the machines out properly and that type of thing. So that's typically what's happened in situations like that.
So basically what you're saying is that we could have a protein powder that basically you read the ingredients, of course, it may be whey protein or whatever other protein source. And next thing you know, you get tested and you test positive for either amphetamines or anabolic steroids.
Right, or you know, so prohormones or stimulants or something that's banned by the athletic committee, whether you know it's NCAA or NFL or the IOC. You know, so it's a very a lamentable situation for the athlete. You know, because typically they haven't done anything other than just relied on the representations of the manufacturer of the sports nutrition product. Now, those kind of things are rare, but they do occur. You know, so in the cases in which they test positive because of a supplement, it's typically cross-contamination.
Understood. Yeah. Do you know as well of cases where companies perhaps were spiking their products with things?
I think that is rare also, but it does happen. You know, there's been times, especially when you have performance-enhancing type supplements, pre-workout supplements, and so forth, so on, that there's been questionable ingredients that have been put in there deliberately to boost their effectiveness and the perception of the stimulation and the like, and oftentimes with bad results when the athlete is tested. Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. I could see perhaps an unscrupulous company that is completely spiking their first batch, and then it gets everybody hooked because they're getting incredible results.
Right.
And then maybe the second batch doesn't work.
Well, that's always possible. You know, another thing, Hugo, that I see is with the supplements not meeting label claim. You know, and especially like there's been some very high-profile sports nutrition companies lately that have been actually sued because the protein that was in the product, what was on the label, really wasn't in the product. They were augmenting the protein content with things like creatine and things that really are not protein per se, you know?
Right, yeah. I mean, creatine is a combination of 3 amino acids that hardly makes it a full protein, you know?
Right.
I mean, creatine is creatine. Very, very interestingly, as a matter of fact, I remember during my competition days, there was a competitor that was competing with me, and he was having a very hard time getting down. And oddly enough, he gave me one time a sample of the protein that he was taking, which shall remain nameless. But anyways, I tried it out. It tasted wonderful. But I know my body enough to realize, okay, wait a minute. There's no way this thing has 1 gram of sugar.
Right.
Absolutely no way.
Right.
And I told him, I said, you know what? I don't know what's in there, but I would recommend that you switch.
Right.
And sure enough, switch proteins, and next thing you know,
everything fell into place.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have to be careful, you know. And I think the takeaway, Hugo, is that you have to go with a reputable brand. You know the brand that you invest in. You know, make sure that they're doing things right, that they're having all of the products assayed by independent labs, so that you can trust that what is on the labels and the bottles, we like to say.
And you know, Lee, not to put you in the spot, but you know, you're also a supplement owner, you're a bodybuilder, obviously.
Thank you.
All your life you've been bodybuilding, so you care about what you put in your body.
Sure.
What kind of measures do you take to make sure that your supplements are clean?
Well, one of the things, Hugo, that we have engaged in for the full 18 years that we've been in business, right from the very inception, we've always lived by the motto, what's on the label is in the bottle. And so all of the products that we make are tested by a third-party independent lab to make sure that they meet label claim.
Right.
And so we've always been very big on purity and potency and making sure that we put an efficacious amount of the ingredient in there. We actually call out the ingredient amount. So basically what it boils down to is that where the consumer is concerned, they get exactly what they're paying for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what, Lee, I have to tell you, you know, and you know this, for years I've been a huge fan of your products.
Thank you.
It's simply because I have that peace of mind that when I'm putting something in me, I know exactly what I'm putting. I know that I'm not contaminating myself. I mean, we've seen the cases of, like, for example, RTDs with high mercury levels, for example.
Right.
That's a big health concern.
That is, and I think that stems from the fact that nowadays there's a lot of manufacturers that are sourcing ingredients from other countries where, unlike our country, they don't have standards that are as stringent when it comes to the raw material. So it's real important that the company that you buy a supplement from is testing their raw materials.
Right. And you know, there may be a little bit of cost associated with that. And that's why perhaps a company like yours could have a protein powder that is a little bit more pricey, but you know that what you're getting there is not going to harm you, and you have exactly what you're paying for.
Exactly, which is for me is where it's at. You know, everything that we manufacture at Labrada Nutrition is such that I will use it myself. My sons will use it. You know, I feel good recommended to a family member or to a friend, you know, and I'm an athlete. I've been in the trenches.
It shows.
Yeah, thank you. Just like you and all of our viewers. And so, you know, I know that I want to produce an honest supplement and that I want to just put the very best out there so that people can reach their goals.
Well, I thank you for that, Lee, because it's one of those things that it allows me to be the bodybuilder that I want to be, you know.
Thanks, Hugo.
And, you know, it's just great, you know. I mean, obviously, you always had people's interest in mind, okay? And that's one of the things I've always admired from you. You know, I've been a huge fan since you weren't competing out there. When I started in 1990, that's when I read my first article coming from you. I said, this guy's really cool, you know?
Oh, thanks. Thanks. That's great. Here we are.
So here we are. It's crazy how life is. That I would have never imagined back in the day. But that's how life is. So definitely, I want to invite my viewers to check out your YouTube channel. And I'm putting a link over here so you can go ahead and subscribe to his YouTube channel as well, because it's loaded with your old posing routines, tons of training information and nutritional and, you know, and of course supplementation as well.
Right.
And motivational videos also. I mean, I love the new motivational video that you have on Hunter. Hunter is just growing into a beast.
Yes, he's Hunter's my son, my 22-year-old son, and he's really growing into his own. Yeah,
he completely dwarfs me right now. It's like,
I think both of us.
He seems to be able to lift cars these days. I don't know.
It's great to see the young generation, the next generation, get into it, you know, and follow in the trail that we blazed, and perhaps take it to the next level.
Yeah, I'd love to go ahead and see Hunter in the top 3 Olympia spot over there. If not being the Mr. O, that would be something.
That would be a lot of fun, and he's already having a lot of fun helping and inspiring people through his videos and articles.
Yeah, he's really, honestly, I'm super proud of him, because I remember interviewing him when he was, you know, a younger gentleman, you know, in his early teens, and I told him, I said, whatever you do, whether it be football or maybe even bodybuilding, because at the time he was all into football, I said, you're gonna be successful, because he had the mindset of success, you know.
Well, thank you, Hugo. So, coming from you, that's a big compliment. Thank you.
It's just the truth. The guy is a machine. If you see these guys' pictures, I'm telling you, visit Lee's site. You'll be able to go ahead and see. He is incredible, and he's been training hardcore since he was like 13. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right.
So, I mean, training hardcore and eating hardcore. I mean, he will wake up in the middle of the night to get his 8th meal or something like that.
That's right. He's very dedicated. So, and that's what it takes at that level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the ticket. I mean, you could even have the best genetics in the planet, and if you don't apply that level of consistency and fastidiousness to your training and your nutrition, you're not going to get anywhere.
That's what it's all about. And
Absolutely.
when those two are in place, you can go anywhere. I always tell people it's like the 2 wheels on a bicycle, nutrition and training. Well, which one's more important, Lee? And I go, they're both equally important. If they're both in place, it's like having the 2 wheels on a bicycle, and you can just go anywhere.
Absolutely. Yep. And real quick, too.
Yep. That's right.
So with that said, I just want to invite my people to go ahead and check out the Labrada Nutrition YouTube. I thank you so much for your time, Lee.
Thank
and
you,
with
Hugo.
your permission, I would love to go ahead and also cover on a future video the subject about posing, bodybuilding posing, how
great.
it is today. And also another question that a lot of people are like, please ask Lee, please ask Lee. And I've told people already, but they want to hear it from you.
Okay.
You know, the myth of getting fat to gain muscle. Do you really need to gain fat and be out of shape?
The bulking up, in other words.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
A dirty bulk up, as I call it, meaning eat everything that you see, the seafood diet. You know how it is.
See it and eat it?
Yeah, see it and eat it.
Right.
Which, as you, obviously, that is not the case here. So,
thank you.
We definitely want to go ahead and cover that. Okay? Anyways, with that said, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Until next time, take care and train hard.